It started by the realization that CBD wasn't bioavailable. So I was like, okay, I want to make mushrooms the most bioavailable mushrooms that we could get. And I called my best friend, business partner, Jeff. This was 2018. I said, Jeff, I know we're both in the cannabis and CBD game right now. And he's like, yeah. I was like, our next venture is going to be mushrooms. And he's like, really? I'm like, I'm telling you, they're communicating with me. I'm telling you, it's going to be mushrooms. He's like, okay. So I planted that seed that day with Jeff. We went about our business. And then miraculously, Jeff discovered, he met the inventor of this QuickSome technology, which is there's 14 patents around this bioavailability that basically takes molecules through a desiccated liposome. And, for the listeners, liposomes have been around for a long time. They're in the supplement game. They make supplements more effective. But no one's doing it in a desiccated liposome. What that means is we're able to keep molecules wet, even though it's in a dry powder or tablet. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So it kind of encapsulates the molecule, keeps in a powder, keeps it wet. And then as soon as it hits your saliva, it transports through the mucosal system and then goes right into your bloodstream right away. So you don't have to go through the digestive tract or the GI where 90% of supplements are, and you lose up to 90% of these active ingredients that we're trying to get. So this way you're getting the full active ingredient right into your bloodstream right away within seconds. You don't have to, it doesn't matter what you ate that day or your blood type or any of your fatigue level. It's just boom, right into your bloodstream. You get the full effects, and that's how it came to be. And we wanted to, okay, so what are we going to bring into the world then? What are we going to do with this technology? And we thought, well, it's really hard to show up in the world if you don't have a good night's sleep, right? It's very challenging. So like, hey, if we could help people sleep better, solve the problem of sleep, we're making an impact. That could be our legacy just on that, just helping people sleep better, get them the rest they need so they can wake up in the morning feeling ready to go. So that's how it started. And that's our first product that we're bringing to market with this technology. It's called Deeper Sleep, and it's designed to put you into restorative sleep faster, quicker than anybody else, any other product that's out there. And it's awesome.
You don't have to put as much melatonin, because this is the thing. I remember we had Dr. John Lawrence on the show, and him and Huberman were going back and forth like melatonin causes nightmares, and no, it doesn't. Look at all the research. I mean, look, you guys try, you're the N=1, right? Like you react to supplements and medicines different than I do, different than anyone. So at the end of the day, y'all, you have to apply it. You have to try it. But I think it's amazing because you can put less melatonin in that desiccated form, the liposomal, right?
Yes.
So you can literally, no matter if you had a big meal or whatever, right before bed, throw it in there. You don't have to eat a bunch of melatonin.
Yeah.
You can actually take in less melatonin.
Yeah.
But there's got to be other tertiary or secondary benefits to it, because this is something, this QuickSome is interesting. Getting IP on a scientific, I guess you could say molecule like that, not fucking easy.
Not easy.
Really hard to do. You have to prove it works. You have to talk about that a little bit for the non-science head, the person that's just like, okay, give me the high level science on that, because we could probably be in lab coats for like 3 days if you tried to break down the real science. But what's the high level science on that?
High level is the inventor spent years on this, and it took him years to get it patented, and it's not easy to get something patented, granted. A lot of patents are pending. This is granted. It's proven patented technology. And it's really just to make supplements the most effective delivery system. It's not necessarily a molecule that we have, but it's a delivery system. And for me, that's what's really exciting is how can I deliver molecules to human beings better, faster, stronger than anybody else? I'm not a vaccine guy. So I want to use a different kind of technology to get molecules into people. And I believe this is the easiest way and the fastest way, so they could really feel the effects. And we're starting with sleep. And then you mentioned the thing that I'm super, super excited about is the legal psychedelic microdose that we're coming out with, because I love microdosing. Like I said, I've been taking it for years. I love it. I'm microdosed right now.
Yeah, same.
Nice. And I love it. I love psychedelics, but I love them responsibly. I've went to the other extreme with psychedelics where I almost lost my mind and scariest shit in my life, probably overdoing it.
It's like we have to go there.
Yeah.
I've been there too. We have to go there to touch where the edge of hell is, so we know where the place is where we don't want to get burned.
Yeah.
It's like human nature. We have to go so far off the path, but we're never off the path.
Yeah. Thank God, because I believe I don't know if everybody could handle where I went with psychedelics, you know? So it taught me really like, hey, Alex, like, because at that time when I was really playing around with psychedelics and really irresponsibly, that's where I scared the living shit out of myself. And I was like, I don't know if the average person could go as far as this, and nor do I want them to go there. So at that point, I made a decision like, I'm never going to bring a full dose or a hero dose product to market, you know? And I was going in that path. I was like, yeah, full send and chocolate bars and gummies and all this stuff. And I was like, no. Like, I'll never do that. But what I will do is bring a microdose out there with a protocol very responsibly, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that these psychedelics can help open up neurogenesis and new pathways in the brain where you can get these codes, bring them back to life, embody them, like you said, which is a code in itself, is embodiment. And then, you know, you're on a new trajectory. So that's the thing that excites me the most right now about eons. There's a lot of things that I'm excited about, you could tell. But the legal psychedelic microdose, nobody's really doing this with a protocol, with a precise dose, because right now, people taking psychedelics or microdose, you don't even know how much active ingredient you're getting. It depends on your GI tract. It depends on your gut flora, all this kind of stuff. So I don't believe that, you know, I want to do things responsibly. So that's why this technology is so perfect, because it's like, okay, if I'm giving you 1 milligram, you're just getting 1 milligram. The body's going to get the full effects of that 1 milligram because it's going right into your bloodstream, which is awesome. But you don't have to overdose and then this is good for, you know, seniors. This is good for students because, you know, they can open up new pathways and, you know, battle dementia or help with anxiety, all these kind of things. And we're going to study the shit out of this. You know, we're doing it with neuroscientists up in Canada, and we're going to bring all the data out for this and really advocate for the legalization of psychedelics very responsibly.
Silicon Valley is licking their fucking chops, aren't they?
They love it.
There's not a week that goes by where some company doesn't email us or in my Facebook or Instagram feed. It's like legal ketamine, legal this, legal that. And, you know, while I applaud that and I think that's great, the real difference is how can you understand the human that you're wanting to serve medicine to? Because it is actually medicine. It's not just drugs.
Yep.
Right? Like, look at the traditional Western model where everything is a drug, but it's patented by television commercials and literally trillions of dollars over the past 30, 40 years. It's just such an unconscious way to give medicine to the people. The real conscious way is like what you're doing, where it's a smaller dose. You're not wasting the medicine. You're actually getting it into people's bloodstream. But there has to also be some type of an emotional intelligence and an emotional inventory aspect to why somebody would come to this medicine in the first place. In other words, just because you take the medicine doesn't mean it's going to heal you.
No,
you have to have the intention. You have to have the willingness. You have to have the anchor inside of your heart that actually wants you to heal your relationship with self or with work or with mom or dad, or typically it's mom or dad. That's the majority of it. True. So there's got to be, I wonder how you guys have thought about this, because it's a big responsibility, man.
It is.
You have this molecule technology that no other company has. It's fucking big. It's really huge.
Thank you.
In order for you to take responsibility for that, it could be used and abused if people choose it. So how are you helping people not abuse it? And how do you get over the legality aspect? Like, just even that phrase, legal psychedelic microdosing, that's a trip in itself. So how do you make microdosing and legal in the same sentence? How do you do that?
Well, we've done a bunch of research and found that there's a psychedelic mushroom that has been around for thousands and thousands of years and studied a lot in Russia, and it's completely legal. It's not scheduled here in the United States, and there's a bunch of data that supports that helps with a bunch of things, anxiety being the big one that I'm really excited to solve the problem of anxiety. I think, you know, I've dealt with anxiety. I've shared that publicly before, being caught up in the matrix and trying to create business and all this kind of stuff. It can create a lot of anxiety, you know, and comparing yourself to other people and social media and all these kind of things. I think, you know, North America these days are plagued with anxiety. So that's a problem I'd love to solve.
Yeah.
And there's a study done with over 3,000 people in Russia that tried this psychedelic mushroom that's legal. And the results were astounding. You know, it's like we're looking like 80-90% of people curing their anxiety. I know curing is a big word, and I probably won't be able to market that, but you're gonna structure this with a protocol a very responsible protocol. And like I said, 1 milligram, which is, 1,000th of a gram. So we're talking really ultra microdose here. Like I'm going on the other end of the spectrum of very responsible. So it's like, we're just introducing this molecule to your system. It's legal, and we're going to do it with a protocol. And there's going to be a guided way to do this. And it's not just like, hey, take this and see you later. It's like, no, track this, take this, journal this, and watch your anxiety dissolve literally in real time. Yeah, so that's how we're going to introduce it to the market in Q2.
Okay, so literally like weeks from now, or maybe even when this show is live, it's there.
Yes.
Is it going to be on eons.com?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so it'll be like the coffee, the energy, the sleep, and you're still working on the name of the product, I believe, right?
Yeah, we're still working on the name of the product. I'm leaning towards Lifted.
Yeah.
But
Lifted, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm leaning towards Lifted. We'll see. So
okay.
TBD. But that's the product I'm the most excited about. And I know I get super excited about products, but I don't know. There's something in me that, I've been through this stuff. I've had anxiety. I've got on the other side of it now. And, God was a big part of that. But this mushroom was a big part of that. Experimenting with this mushroom, this technology. Like I truly believe mushrooms are a technology. They have codes that we don't have as human beings. They're billions of years old. So it's like, okay, they have information. Let's use it.
I remember we were in the sauna and I was like, we just don't live in our grandparents' and great-great-grandparents' world anymore. Like we're not there. And so yes, in a perfect world, literally in a perfect world, and maybe we would have even benefited more back then, who knows, from supplements, because how could you possibly get everything you need in the most optimal way? We just don't live in the forest anymore. We're not in canvas huts. We're not in teepees. Yeah. It would be great if we could go back to that in some way, but gosh, we just need supplements now. It's like, if we don't have them, if we don't have the scaffolding and the supplements, how are we possibly supposed to fend off environmental toxins, EMF toxins, fungicides, pesticides, low quality food, low quality dirt, chemtrails, dirty air, mind virus, Wetiko, you fucking name it, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're in the cosmic soup of pain right now.
Right?
The only way we're going to get out is through lifelines.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Click the link on this screen. If you love that clip that you just watched, you're going to absolutely love this full length video. You just have to tap the little icon on the screen. While you're at it, subscribe.